Because we've got a best-of-5 set coming up to decide that between these two, and it looks, I think I got peeked, we might be starting on small battlefield, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, I only got a glance.
Looks like that small battlefield, and it is a very classic matchup being between Peach and Meta Knight, one that kind of shook the world a long time ago in early Smash 4, when we really hadn't been able to see that matchup before and saw Abadongo really bring Meta Knight to the forefront at that time. But Meta Knight against Peach in particular, very, very good at connecting that ladder because she's so floaty and light. You'll see probably BONK hugging the ledges so that he has all the room in the world to work with, whereas MuteAce will probably be trying to do the same. Even though stage control, traditionally you want to hold that center against Meta Knight, if you hold close to the ledge, he can't get as much of a follow-up without that landing strip.
Yeah, he definitely needs some room to get forward, and it's kind of works pretty well with this game plan because if Meta Knight doesn't want to be in the corner, he doesn't really have to be. He's one of the more maneuverable characters in the game, and he is maneuvering Mute all the way up for some big damage, but not quite into the blast zone.
Oh, and we wait for the air dodge to get that drill rush. Extra damage, beautiful patience from BONK, recognizing I don't have to end it now, but I am going to take what I can get.
And he's looking to take a big risk there too. He thinks that maybe Mute's not going to be ready to give him the big challenge on that up B, and oh my god, he is just nothing personnel, kid. He is teleporting behind Mute over and over.
But that high back hit of the Nair is going to end up taking the first stock for MuteAce.
You know what? It's good to know that Mute can handle a tornado now that he's moved to Texas, because he's going to have to learn how to.
He's going to have to.
If you guys don't know, you might know MuteAce as one of the best players out of Florida, but recently moving to Texas and getting #1 on the PR as well. So just talent no matter where he's playing, and that includes New York City because this lead against BONK is mounting.
God, and those up airs were such intense pressure. BONK really going for a lot of these shuttle loops where MuteAce is applying the pressure and then just holding that block.
Yeah, you know what? BONK can get a rod and a cooler of beers because he loves to fish for that up B.
He does indeed. You see, also a lot I've noticed from BONK is tossing out one move and then immediately another, really abusing the low end lag of Meta Knight to try to sucker punch you. But Mute has been so good at kind of avoiding all of those plays. Now up a clean full stock 2-1.
That's insane, that forward air killed without any rage, but that just goes to show you, right, that high risk, high reward of playing in the corner all game, like you were talking about with Meta Knight. Sometimes those early KOs will happen, and you just got to accept that with this character. Great DI by MuteAce, by the way, to not get hit by the follow-up there.
Right, that was a very clean dash attack, but DIing away meant there was no follow-up for BONK. And we got turnip in hand, which is crucial for the matchup to deal with that distance that BONK wants to be at.
And BONK finding what he's been looking for this entire game, which is a crazy cross-up. That back air and the forward air both, right? I think that just because Meta Knight's so maneuverable and has those multi-hit hitboxes, you really have to be able to leverage the ability to cross up your opponent. You got to go in deep sometimes.
And speaking of mixing up the opponent, you get that empty land tomahawk with that triangle jump float. MuteAce very good at connecting those grabs. That's going to be no punish. Maybe anticipating a little bit more end lag than there was.
Oh, and there's the tornado with Mute floating so dangerously close to the stage. Gotta use that up B early, and BONK is all over it. Might see another tornado here, but no, what a recovery from MuteAce.
Just a nick from the parasol is going to keep BONK out of the edge guard. Has to retreat back to the ledge, so MuteAce has feet on the ground, but the back air is so incredibly strong. BONK is going to send this to last stocks with a lot of rage. This is still absolutely anybody's game. If you've ever seen this matchup played out before, you know we're potentially just one dash attack away from BONK being up, but he's not able to find it. Like you mentioned before, that back air cross-up is something he was looking for to catch the opponent, maybe whiffing an attack out of shield to set up one of those dash attacks. Instead, though, MuteAce was on top of it and set up that clean back air, get the damage, get the KO.
Well, the thing about those cross-ups is, especially in this matchup, you have to be really good about mixing up whether or not you're going to cross up. You have to be ambiguous about it because Peach especially is one of those characters that does not mind somebody attacking the back of her shield. A lot of people have trouble challenging that, but Peach not only covers a lot of range behind her, but also hits very hard with that back air behind her. So if BONK is going to be utilizing those cross-ups to mix up Mute, he has got to be mixing it up between the front and the back.
Yeah, and you got to register that risk reward. If you stayed in front, maybe even when you just got hit by like a low float Nair that Could have done a lot of damage, but maybe wouldn't have killed from that position. Speaking of those low float nairs, though, MuteAce put on a lot of early damage with them.
I can't believe that he actually got 2 out of that, given how high that first one was, but still getting the big damage, and now the ledge trap continuing. This is maybe the best part of MuteAce's entire game, is his ability to ledge trap, and this could be a dead bonk, but actually the turn-up getting in the way of Mute's timing.
Yeah, a little bit too early on that forward smash release, and that meant Bonk was able to make it back on stage, and now with a little bit of vigor, my goodness, yeah, if you trade with the parasol there, you send Mute straight down.
There's no coming back from it, so I love to see Bonk taking the risks, but in that case wasn't ready for the ledge trump. Mute got the first stock, and now we'll see the pace of play slow down again. Mute does not take a lot of big risks when he's got the lead.
Does such a good job of calling Bonk's movement, dashing back, and now he's right back in that corner where he makes the cheddar. But you see, MuteAce decided to back up and say, I'm going to hold this spot in the ledge, but under the platform so you don't get these dash attack combos.
And deep out with the tornado, but again, he's not getting the sweet spot on those, so it's not connecting it as a kill move. However, this is once again Mute, no jump, and the drag down with the back air almost did it.
Yeah, but lucky for Mute, he had just enough gas left in the tank to make it all the way back.
Oh, and that's a ledge trump from MuteAce too, so Bonk having to re-grab the ledge. Love the movement here though. That's very precise with those down Bs to land on stage when you drop off with the down B just like that. Really impressive from him.
Ooh, this is going to be, no, because turnip in hand wasn't actually able to get a big punish on that tornado. We've seen a couple of times Bonk get away with that one.
Oh, he's trying to get away with another big edge guard right here, but committing to the tornado early, I feel like these early commitments from Bonk, especially when he's in advantage state, are really hurting him, where a lot of times, especially on the juggles, we've seen MuteAce sort of feign going to one direction on the stage and then immediately pull back, but by the time he does, Bonk's already committed to chasing him across the other way.
This time MuteAce finally positioning properly to cover that landing on the tornado. Bonk finding the back air to even up the stocks again with this rage. The stock lead is only fractional, or the percent lead rather.
It's a big fraction right now. I mean, any percent is a fraction in theory, but it's a big one for MuteAce right now. Bonk has got to find some big hit to get himself back into this, but he just can't get any stage control.
That Nair did buy him some space. He was able to go all the way to the other side, but not able to find these big hits that he needs. Does survive that back air, but that's weak hit. For how long can he survive the onslaught? Again, the empty jump comes from MuteAce to get that forward throw, set up a little bit extra damage. Dash attack, not quite great. The eye again from Bonk.
But he's just not able to get any openings. It seems like he's been on the back foot kind of this entire set, and that just kind of shows it, right? When you're on the back foot, all it takes is your opponent to play reactively, kind of figure out where you're going to go next, and when they get you to a high enough percent, they can get you. Bonk says, I might want to get you at a low percent right there.
Yeah, doing his best to maybe do a ladder of down airs off the side, but not able to find a big connection. Again, pulling out that tornado just to toss Mute further off. Doesn't find his mark with the back air though. So MuteAce is back on stage where he belongs.
Ooh, but Bonk with turnip in hand. Meta Knight has a pretty pitiful item toss, but could still open him up with some combos. That's a dot eyes from MuteAce, so that's big damage.
Already lapped Bonk a percent on the last stock here. He's got a lot of work to do.
That was so sad. Bonk had a really good up air right there, but hesitated as to whether or not he could get a follow-up at that percent, and that just let Mute get out of it. I think that maybe it was the time to press that advantage. But here we go, Bonk trying to stay a little bit more grounded, catch those landings from MuteAce. He's going to need something big here to take this game too.
Using that turn up to stuff out the forward air, keep Bonk from all those shenanigans in the ledge, and we see neutral air is going to punish the aggressive dimensional cape.
Which we have seen a whole lot of from Bonk, but he just hasn't been able to get any big starters for his combos, much less finishing the food, right? It's mostly been kind of the death of 1,000 cuts on MuteAce's end until he goes down. And, you know, when you play as patient as Mute does and have a character like Peach who can put on damage so fast, that playstyle just really kind of falls apart.
It is just the positioning from MuteAce makes it so hard for Bonk to find these big combo starters.
Yeah, super, super good spacing from MuteAce. I think that he's got a really good idea of how this matchup is supposed to go, and basically what Meta Knight can get the big cheese off of and what he can't. And MuteAce has been allowing himself to trade with a lot of the stuff that can't lead to a big stock.
And there we finally see a clean dash attack, but again, MuteAce is able to just avoid it entirely, get all the way to the platform, and not take any big follow-up.
We see BONK, Dimensional Cape back to center stage, but Mute has seen it so many times. He's kind of got the punish already ingrained into his muscle memory. Here's down throw from BONK, though. He'll get big damage here. Won't get the stock just yet. Small Battlefield has those high ceilings.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that kept him from getting the early stock.
That and no rage means it's going to be really difficult to connect these early KOs without some kind of assistance from the platform.
As the landing nearly gets the strong KO, that Tornado does get it that time, finally getting the sweet spots he's been looking for, and it's an aggressive game plan that BONK is finally finding success with.
Yeah, it's a, first you don't succeed, try again. And now we're seeing MuteAce try again to apply that damage. Got a lot on with the Mr. Saturn, but once it's out of the hands, look at the patience from BONK. Just trying to cover that center.
He's trying really hard to bait something big out from MuteAce, where that's really the big hallmark of Meta Knight's playstyle, is that he's very good at giving you fake rushes to deal with and trying to see through them and determine which one is the real one. Look at the coverage from BONK and especially the defense from MuteAce to not get hit by any of those hitboxes.
Right. But again, we see that Tornado this time. Again, not the strong hit, but doing some damage, resetting the situation. Nair again sets up a new ledge trap, trying to trade again with the back air there for the drag down. But MuteAce not going to be connected there.
And not connecting this first stock either. I was talking about how MuteAce has done a really good job so far of staying away from the big finishers from BONK. BONK has been doing a really good job of that in this game, and it's all down to him being super aggressive at the start and getting that first stock and being able to play with the lead, but that ability might go away soon because MuteAce has these early damage combos down pat.
Where if you're able to avoid the KO from Peach, you can last for quite a long time if you know what to avoid, but as soon as your stock melts, you know you're starting the next one at 60% minimum, because once they have a turnip in hand, they find one of those combos, the damage just racks up so quick.
When I love that fake rush right there from BONK. Like I said, you've got to be able to determine which one's real and which one is fake. MuteAce just trying to really get himself back into the game. Tornado's a big commit.
And that's the adaptation we need from MuteAce. The air dodge this time to avoid the Tornado entirely, get back on stage. And here we're going to see, again, no punish on the Tornado. The cross-up is difficult to deal with.
But not only that, but it was a really smart time to do it by BONK because he saw Mute had the turnip in hand and knew that meant he couldn't get the big punish like we might see right there. Had enough time to charge up that golf club and give him the 9-iron.
Turnip in hand is going to be something that gives Mute more options at the ledge. Great patience and positioning there to avoid all of the back airs, the flurry from BONK.
And that was all down to spacing from MuteAce. I can't believe that BONK didn't get the stock, but again, the recognition and knowing the matchup has been so big for Mute. And now he's working with that last stock lead. But again, BONK never letting up on that pressure. He always wants you to be concerned.
Tries to go for the immediate back air, making it look like he had a little bit of lag, so seeing if MuteAce would bite, but he doesn't. MuteAce, again, just patient with it. Finally connects the grab, up throw is going to do it on the light Peach.
Yeah, she's just not quite hefty enough to live that. BONK looking to get that crucial first game because you know if you can take one, you can take three.
Absolutely, and we're not quite at those KO percents yet. This is prime time for BONK to connect one of these dash attacks. Even if it doesn't KO, got a lot of damage, even this game up.
Dude, the way that first one went at the start of this game, if he had gotten one, it might have gotten him the stock, but he'll never get the opportunity. It's the ledge pressure from MuteAce once again, and that momentum never left his hands.
God, that forward air is so incredibly strong. Meta Knight, not the heaviest of characters. So at the ledge, 100% gonna do it. MuteAce was just looking so clean with the positioning and never dropped like a big opportunity like this. Look at that. Dude, the ledge is just where he plays.
And what made that work so well is look at the way he floats right here. Just a little mix-up on the timing where BONK was going to try to parry the immediate forward air, but instead, just because of that little float that MuteAce did right there, he had to take it on the head.
Yeah, look at that.
Just a little timing mix-up is all you need, and that's what makes Peach's float so powerful. It's not just because it's a good recovery tool. It's mostly because she gets insane timing mix-ups as well as access to a bunch of crazy combos.
Yeah, 100%. We saw a little bit, it looked like there was maybe even 1 or 2 frames away from connecting that parry, but it's just that little mix that makes all of the difference. MuteAce is the king of that, constantly utilizing that float to mix up between that forwarder as well as mixing up between that empty land, and you know that's got to be in the back of BONK's mind as well, as I can't just sit here holding shield